'80s, it's always been those two teams in the Valentine Classic, and it's looking like it's going to be like that again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So next we're going to go over to Liam, who's got an update for us on the track team.
Yeah, track team is undefeated this year. Had a big win over Maggie Walker, also beat Atlee. Ian Smith has been invited to the Virginia Showcase, and Jaden Smith has been filling in very well for the track team, doing it all this year. Anything you guys wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, track team at St. Chris has always been dominant in prep league play and state competition over the past few years. So.
Yeah, I think it's big this year. They lost a lot of talent. Guys like Alejandro, Frank Royal. So they've really stepped up and continued this dominance.
I think it's interesting you mentioned Ian Smith. Right now he's got, I think, 6 offers that he's trying to decide between. Hasn't released where he's going yet, isn't really telling a lot of people where he's interested, but it's down to 6. And Jaden has been looking fantastic in hurdles. They've still got guys like Brad Owen and Thomas Hunter who've been looking really nice in hurdles, but Jaden has really been showing that he's going to be the leader on this team next year. He's someone that's really been making his mark.
Yeah, definitely. He's been on the team for a couple of years now, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes going forward. And so next, we're going to talk about varsity basketball, who off to a really hot start to the season, 9-1. Started 8-0, had the loss to Trinity last Friday at home. That was a great atmosphere here in Scott Gym. Took the victory at Fort Union this past Tuesday. I think all the credit goes to the seniors. They're playing as a team. Got guys like Gil Williamson, Walker Wallace leading the charge, and they've got the younger guys to buy in. And this is a changed team from a year ago who already has passed their win total from last year.
One thing I think is really crazy is that this is the first time in recent history that the Saints really haven't had that one guy that's their go-to scorer. Whether it was Arnold or Gibson or Petrie or Nick, there's always been that go-to guy, and this year there hasn't been one. So there's a lot of great ball movement, a lot of young talent, some older guys, experience, and it's been paying off really well.
Yeah, the younger guys in Andre Green, Trent Hendrick, KP Pulley, and Nikos Kovanis have really been able to step up this year. Coming in last year was their first year. Some of them didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but this year KP Pulley's bounced back from that horrific injury and he's shooting lights out. And then Andre Green also, he's been getting a couple early starts.
Yeah, and I think going with that Trinity loss, talking to some of the players, it was mainly an issue of they came out really hot. They were very energetic and they hung with the Titans for a while. But then once you get to that second quarter, they kind of lost some steam, lost some energy, and that's when Trinity really made a run. And then third and fourth quarter hung with them, but they still were down 13 roughly the entire game after going down in the second quarter.
Yeah, Saints did a good job defending Henry Coleman. Walker Wallace had the big responsibility of doing that, and I think he did it pretty well. I mean, he's a Duke commit, so he's one of the best scorers in the country, but I think Walker Wallace did a phenomenal job guarding the whole night.
Yeah, I think the whole effort of this team has just been way up from last year. There's just a whole other intensity. I think getting the fresh start, starting off 8-0, and even the student section has been incredible this year. I think stuff like that just really motivates the team to do well. And sitting at 9-1, and hopefully able to bring a prep league title home.
Yeah, got a big game against Collegiate this week, rivalry game. So this should be a piece in the puzzle for a prep league title.
I hope that they're able to figure things out, because definitely seeing those younger players in an environment like that where they had never been thrown in, they seem a little rattled. They had to play in the half court a lot more with an elite team like Trinity, couldn't get those easy fast break points. So in a big time game like that, you got to step up. I don't think players have really been in a situation like that. And hopefully they'll be able to challenge on Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be another big atmosphere. We'll be streaming it, and Collegiate is a weakened team from last year, losing Robbie Barron and stuff, guys like that. So it'll be interesting.
Be sure to go check out 84 Feet with Liam Nolan. We just filmed the first episode a couple minutes ago with Walker Wallace. That'll be a continued series throughout the season.
Yeah, it should be coming out in the coming days before the collegiate game, so stay tuned for that. And now we're going to head over to wrestling and Oliver Sabo.
Yeah, wrestling, they've had a great program the past couple of years. Lost guys like Jackson Turley last year, Connor Alexander, both going D1 for wrestling, but they've continued that dominance well. They just picked up their first home win of the season here on Friday night against Orange County. They went to the Ironman before Christmas break, and they had Eric Berge, who's been one of the best wrestlers in the state so far this year, tied for 5th against some of the best talent in the country. So yeah, got a big match against Benedictine coming up 25th. That's a Saturday.
I believe we'll be streaming that actually.
We will be streaming that. So they got a real shot at the Prep League title this year.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? 18 consecutive Prep League titles for Saints Wrestling?
A big loss, though, is losing Loud and Hurt, Virginia.
Yeah, towards Peck.
He's going to be out for the year. Yeah.
But they got a bunch of great talent. They got guys like Eric and Cale Brogy, some of the younger guys like Dubois, Shork, and then they got those older leaders on the team like Jameson Knotts, Thomas Lamb. So it's a deep team and it's a strong team.
Yeah, I mean, St. Chris Wrestling is something you can always rely on to compete, each year, and I think they're showing that again this year. Definitely a weakened roster from last year, but guys have been stepping up, and they're going to contend for the 19th consecutive Prep League title. And I think we're going to head over to Joe Brennan with squash now.
The squash season has been nothing short of thrilling. Squash has gotten off to a fantastic start. They've only lost one match so far, and that was against Potomac. Potomac is a team that's widely known for their ability to recruit great talent, and they were able to win one game out of their 9. So that was a difficult one, but they were able to bounce back. They beat Woodbury yesterday, 7-2. The squash team just has looked phenomenal. I mean, if you go through 1 through 9, their scoring players, they've dominated in basically every single match they've had. A critical loss, though, is they recently lost Alex Baber as he transferred to another school. That's the guy that was in that top 5 scoring list. So that's going to be a little tricky, figuring out who's going to take that place and step up for him. But it should be interesting to see how they figure things out. I've been really excited to see it. I believe they have 4 freshmen on the team this year. It's definitely a young group, kind of like basketball. But they've got those older guys. Baden Paget has looked incredible. Baden Paget's one of those guys that's really sneaky athletic. He doesn't really look like it, but once you see him on the squash court, it's wild. He's like something I've never seen.
Yeah, I think Alex Baber, as you mentioned, it's big for the chemistry as well, because we streamed one of those games and it was just electric there. A bunch of fans, team energy was great, and Baber is one of the lead guys behind that. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up without him this year. They got guys like Zach Harrison, Peter Bowles. They're really trying to keep some of that fun in the team. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, they've definitely been focusing a lot on their swagger, bringing that excitement to squash. It doesn't always get that love, which I'm a big fan of.
I think you can say that with all the winter sports this year, even fall sports. I think there's just great leadership from the seniors and student body supporting their classmates, and I think it really helps, and of course it helps on the field as each team in the fall and winter has been dominant.
One thing I'd be interested in seeing is a possible Prep League sweep once again for the Saints. I'm not trying to jinx it a little early, but it looks good. And it's definitely something that's possible.
Yeah.
Should be exciting into the season.
Yeah, I believe we'll have one more of these around the end of the season, so be sure to tune in for that. Make sure to catch our stream tomorrow. I believe we're streaming JV and the varsity game, both against collegiate, so be sure to tune in for those if you can't make it. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us here at the Winter Sports Show. Catch you guys later.